This is my review of my Resco Hooper wristwatch. First, let me begin with a blanket apology. This is not a great quality video or recording. I don't do a lot of this. The reason I'm creating this review and putting it out there for you is before I bought the Hooper, I scoured the internet. Basically couldn't find a single video anywhere of the watch I was interested in buying. So I've put this together with my experience of purchasing the watch. I did have a service issue with it, which I'll explain, and of living with it, aside from that, every day for 9 months. So this is a long-term review of the Resco Hooper. Here's where the story began. I was searching for a diver watch with an orange dial. Became interested in Resco and especially liked the Patriot model that you see here. I just liked the dial for its clarity. I liked the strength of the watch. I liked the features. Just a lot to like about it, but it didn't come with an orange dial. So I wrote to the folks at Resco, asked if that was a possibility, getting it in orange, and here's what they sent me. They took a different model of watch called the UDT, which did come with an orange dial, and they created this mock-up, and that's the Patriot case with a UDT dial inside it. And it was nice of them to mock it up. I think it looks kind of cool. And it was an orange dial, but to me the Patriot dial design is much nicer than the UDT, so it just wasn't really working for me. Meanwhile, they said, well, what about the Hooper? It's a different Resco model that does come with an orange dial. Hadn't considered it really seriously because it's just a totally different look, but the more I looked at it, the more it grew on me. This watch also has kind of a backstory for the movie Jaws. I won't take you through that. You can Google it and find a pretty cool article there about it. So all this to say, the Hooper grew on me and I finally pulled the trigger. I just navigated to the website, I spec'd out a watch, paid full asking price, and I'd say about 4 days later, I got this box in the mail. So now I will take you through the unboxing, show you what's inside. So the first thing I noticed is a beer koozie, nice little extra. And of course there's a packing slip. And there's the watch case, which is pretty sturdy, to say the least. So pried it open. And here we have a NATO strap. I'm not a big fan. This one will never get used, but it looks nice. Has a logo. Also inside is a lanyard. That's for attaching to the case. And underneath the foam, there's a little warranty card. This also contains a test readout from a pressure test. Now, one thing to note, I also got a light leather strap. This is not standard. I paid extra for it. The reason I did is I got the watch in a steel bracelet and was a little unsure about whether it would fit. My wrist being a little on the skinny side. So I got that as a backup. But now let's take a look at the watch itself, which, as I mentioned, I got on bracelet, and I'd asked them to install the bracelet for me. And here we go. Apologies for the hotspot there. This is the Resco Hooper. There are a number of options available for the Hooper on the website. This one obviously has the black PVD finish and the stainless steel bracelet. It also has the automatic movement, an ETA 2824. So with all that together, those are all the additional cost items. It adds a good bit to the cost of the watch overall. It's also available in either iron style or black. There's no difference in price, and I believe the bezel color changes with the dial also. So here just some views of the watch case at the side and the bracelet, the clasp, everything but the back of the watch pretty much done up in the PVD. I won't bother reading all the imprint to you. You can look it up online, but it's nicely detailed. The bezel clicks are really nicely done. I don't know. Hopefully you can hear that in the background. It's 120 click stops all around, and it's got a nice feel to it. Likewise, the crown is, there's a diver watch rated to 200 meters, so it's a screw-down crown. It's a good size. It's got a nice feel to it. I've timed this to minus 6.5 seconds per day. Here I'm just giving you an idea of what it looks like on the light leather strap. It's not a bad look. Okay, not so good. You can see here, this is maybe a week or so after I'd had the watch. There's clearly moisture on the inside of the case. This just as clearly happened because when I noted the moisture, I also noted that I had not screwed down the crown. Well, that's not good. In a diver watch, it's really great, super watertight. None of that matters if you don't actually screw the crown down. Fortunately, I shipped it off to Resco with an email confessing and asking for help. Within a week, I got it back. It was cleaned up. It had been pressure tested again. It looked absolutely spotless, and they didn't charge me a penny for it. Now, your mileage might vary according to the website. If I remember correctly, they charge return shipping. They didn't charge me anything. So I can tell you for sure, they definitely stand behind what they sell, and it's good to know. Here I am showing you the watch after 9 months of virtually continuous wear. And along the way, it's taken a few hits against objects with just me walking around. There are maybe a couple of little dings on it, very minor. It doesn't, though, show the swirl marks that you would typically see on a stainless steel finish. So I just think it's a great finish overall. And the watch has performed really well. There have been no mechanical problems. There have been no other issues of any kind since the crown incident. And the watch has just performed flawlessly. All right, so let's go to summary. This has been my unsolicited review of the Resco Hooper. And it's been a great watch after all this time. I probably will eventually get back into rotation, but I'm continuing to wear this because I like it. It works well. It fits comfortably. It looks sharp. There's just a lot to like about it. Most of all, though, it's reliable. It's functional. It's sturdy. As to any negatives or potential ones, I'm obviously pretty happy. I'll point out a couple of things. One, the lugs aren't drilled all the way through. And if you like to change out your bracelet or strap often, maybe that's an issue. It's not for me. This will probably never get changed. Beyond that, if you take a close look, you can see that there are different finishes involved with a black PVD. The bracelet is, I don't know, I call it a semi-gloss, while the watch head itself is a satin, and then you have the semi-gloss picked up in the black portion of the bezel. The other thing just to be aware of is the bracelet itself. If you look at Resco's website, they tell you that the steel bracelet can only be sized down to about 6 3/4 inches and up to a max of 8 inches. I think it actually says 8 plus. That means that not everybody could wear it because the steel bracelet sides are solid. There's a limit to how much adjustment can be made. So I was a little anxious, I mentioned, about whether this would fit because I'm definitely at the small end of that scale, but for me it worked fine. For you, if you're on the margins or beyond them, consider that the bracelet may not be an option for you, just to point that out. So if you like the style and if you like the backstory of this particular design, the Hooper watch, and if you like Resco and that company and their backstory, this could be a great way to go, at least until there's a Patriot with an orange dial.